It's almost like it's it's their last name. Like, oh, here comes Frank in the way. Here comes Susan in the way. Here comes Bill in the way. Those are the people that get in the way and block you. Right? Say you're trying to lose some weight. You're trying to lose some weight and you got a nice little groove going. You've been eating good for 2 weeks and then your friend comes along and he decides to start eating quadruple cheesecake right in your face. Hey man, I can't eat all this. I didn't touch this part. Do you want it? And he knows you want it. Right? But he's not paying attention to the fact that you got 2 weeks of good eating. And if you bite into this cheesecake, man, it's either going to be really, really difficult to stay on the right track or you're going to fall off the track. And the whole night, you're looking at that slice of cheesecake sitting there, right? Everybody else is talking and you're pretending to have a conversation with them, but you're not listening to them. You're not talking to them. Only thing you're doing is hearing your mind go, eat that cheesecake, boy. Come on, you ate good for 2 weeks. One gigantic piece of cheesecake, that's not going to hurt anything. Go ahead, eat that cheesecake. Now, I don't know whether you can fight off that thought or not, but it just put a big damper on everything. It was in the way. You were on the right track, and he put this piece of cheesecake in the way. He's in the way. There's a lot of people that are in the ways. The first in the ways in your life were your parents or your siblings, right? If they were your siblings, they're the ones that always, you know how siblings have to always torture you. Y'all just got to torture your brother or your sister. You have to do it. It's part of the contract when you're born. You have to torture your siblings while you're younger. Heck, you have to torture your siblings while you're older, because I still torture my siblings and my siblings still torture me. And most of us are middle-aged or approaching it. Even the younger ones that totally torture each other because that's our job. Right? But when you were a kid, he's eating cookies. They wouldn't have known that you were eating cookies. There's a big cookie jar in there. They wouldn't have known you took a couple of cookies, but your stinking brother and sister told on you. They got in the way. And now all of a sudden you did get those 2 cookies, but now you have to think about the 10 cookies you don't get because you don't get any cookies this weekend at all because of them. Oh, that's horrible. Right? Maybe you're sitting there, you're about to make a phone call. You're trying to get up the courage to call that person you've been wanting to date for a long period of time. You finally got the phone number. You're trying to get up the courage. You literally just need to be left alone. It's kind of a momentum sometimes. You know what I mean? When you have to get yourself in the right mindset and you got to get the momentum going. You got to get the positive self-talk going. You got to get everything rolling. You got to get everything rolling. You have to get everything rolling because you have to do whatever it takes to get the momentum together to make the phone call to that person you've been dreaming about dating. You want them to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You want it badly and you just want to know. And right around when you're about to make that phone call, your brother or your sister picks up the phone and starts talking about nothing in particular. Right? You go to your parents. I was about to make the phone call. Well, you weren't on the phone, Johnny. And she's on the phone or he's on the phone now. And you know the rule. If the person gets on the phone, they get an hour to talk. And then an hour from now, you can use the phone. And you're sitting there, right? And now you're sitting there being really angry at your sibling who's not even talking about anything particular. They're literally watching a TV program with the person they're on the phone with and not even saying anything. Maybe occasionally they'll go, did you just see that? But they could have done that at any time. But no, they got to do this now. They don't even really like that show too much. And they're looking at you and they're looking at you like, ha 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 ha, too bad, punk. They don't even know what they ruined for you, but they know they ruined something. And that's what their job is as a sibling, to get in the way. Right? But the original in the ways have always been your parents. And they have to get in the way because they have to protect you from doing dumb stuff. When you were a kid and you wanted to ride a box top down, the top of a box, you tried to make a little car out of it and you wanted to slide down the steps. You were thinking that your parents are the worst people in the world, or really basically keeping you from a broken arm and a concussion because you're sliding down metal steps with metal handrails. And if you bounce off them, you're going to wind up in the hospital because you're young and stupid, but you don't want to hear that crap. You're mad at your parents. They don't want me to have any fun. No, they don't want you to have a concussion, right? When you were a little kid, you're trying to stick things into the electric socket and they take your hands away and they put the little plugs in the electric socket. They don't want me to have any fun. No, they don't want the electricity to arc and kill you. That's what it is, you little idiot. Right? You see a kid in the basement, they got, right, and you think that you forgot to lock the thing, to lock the cabinet underneath the sink, and then, cause if a phone call or something, you ran out of the room, you walk back down and you see the kid has poured some ammonia into a cup and they're now trying to take the top off the bleach, and then you down, bum, 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 bum. The music from Mission Impossible runs into your head and you have to run over there and grab that thing, because if you know even a little bit of that bleach and ammonia get together, you're going to have to run out of the house and have hazmat people running in there, because that's a corrosive and disgusting and poisonous gas comes from that. Man, I was just trying to do some experiments, man. They didn't want me to have any fun. No, they don't want you to be on the floor putting you in an iron lung, you little dope. He's in the way, man. Right? I remember as an adult, I was dating a lady and we were having a great time. Right? And there was a guy that didn't even want my girlfriend my girlfriend was my girlfriend at the time. He wasn't trying to get with her. He was happily married. But he was one of those guys that literally needed to put people down to make himself feel better. He wasn't even trying to get my girlfriend, but he saw an opportunity to try to put me down to make himself look better. Right? I overheard him talking to a mutual friend, and he was literally going out of his way to be extra nice to his wife, not because he was trying to be nice with her, but because his wife told him how funny I was, and he thought he was funny. He wasn't. And he didn't like the fact that his wife thought that I was funny. So he, all of a sudden, I became public enemy number one temporarily. So every time he had an opportunity to try to make me look bad, he tried to make me look bad. Right? Well, S. Anthony didn't vacuum the floor? What kind of boyfriend is that? What? S. Anthony didn't wash your car? What kind of boyfriend is that? I just hadn't gotten an opportunity to. I literally was about to vacuum that floor, and I had made an appointment to have her car detailed, better than a hand wash. And he kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it until I had to confront the guy. What is your problem, man? Because he kept getting in the way, and there was no reason for that. Do you have people like that? Do you have people that are always in the way? I know. It sounds like I'm being nitpicky, but I'm really not. There are people who will do that to you on a regular basis. I had a neighbor. This is back. Right now I have unlimited high-speed internet at my house, and I have it on the phone too, right? Because nowadays, everything has to be pretty much unlimited because of the size of the files. If you're on YouTube, you better have unlimited. Of course, I have 2 podcasts and a bunch of YouTube channels and all that kind of stuff. So I have no choice. I have to do unlimited. But back then, I wasn't in the house that much. I wasn't home that much. So why would I pay for unlimited if I didn't have to? I'm paying for internet that I'm not using. Hell no. So I didn't have unlimited. I had a certain amount. But my neighbor got a hold of my Wi-Fi. Yeah. And he started using it. And like I said, at the time I paid for a certain amount of internet to try to save some money, a certain amount of internet. And every time I came back, I was like, I didn't use it. And the internet companies are going to be like, sure you didn't. Right? So one day I came home early. And if you look into your system, you can see someone is currently using your stuff. So I shut it down. And I didn't know which one of my neighbors was doing it. Couldn't tell. Because this guy was or gal, I didn't know at the point, was in the way, because when I went back to use my internet, all of a sudden it started costing me more money because somebody was using my internet. It wasn't me. that rotten sassafras and Jehoshaphat. And I started thinking about it. Wait a minute. If this person is milking my Wi-Fi, then that means they don't have it. And that means I'll know who it is because they're either going to come and ask me some questions